Welcome to the Creative Entrepreneur Show. What do we have this week, Bryon?
Hey, Rosh, this week I'm happy to talk about all of the different things you could potentially upload into some of these LLMs like ChatGPT,
Mm-hmm.
and some of the different ways, you can just use it immediately and be able to apply it to what it is you're doing. And then I'm going to get a little personal here. We're going to talk about my motivations for being an entrepreneur, for being on the show. And I'm going to warn you, Rosh, I'm going to talk about my dad.
Oh, okay. I'll get the Kleenex out.
Yes, yeah, exactly. We got a little bit going on here in the family, so I'm excited to talk about
Yeah,
my
no,
dad.
I'm looking forward to that. That's great.
Yeah.
So
We
I
have
have this week two things. One is something we've certainly talked about, but the first one is LinkedIn did a survey of the number one soft skill that's needed right now. And this was across, I think, a number of different industries. I saw a couple, at least one. Actually, I saw at least one. And it was a very interesting soft skill that I think I would say our audience would understand. Or if they don't understand, they need to understand it.
Right.
So, and
Yeah.
then I want to get into applying the skills that we're talking about as a creative entrepreneur. So we'll get into.
Perfect.
So why don't you start us off, Bryon?
Well, cool. Yeah. So, talking about applying some of these skills, I like to give a snapshot of some of the things I've done this past, week or so using AI. And, I am elbows deep in that project of creating the reels. So,
Yep.
I don't have an update on that quite yet, but I do. Some of the work I did in that motivated what I want to talk about here. So what's great about, and I'm going to talk specifically to ChatGPT. I have 4.0, so I pay that $20 a month happily. And it gives me the availability of uploading all sorts of things. So whether those be documents, spreadsheets, images, code, there's all sorts of things you can upload into GPT and use it as part of your prompt to get a cool result. So an example, I'm doing a speaking event, a continuing education for real estate.
Cool.
And I'm going to be talking about social media, talk about AI. And I got an outline from the person I'm going to be speaking with. And I just took that whole outline, I uploaded it to ChatGPT, and I said, okay, I'm, Bryon from Bryon Scott Social Media. I'm going to be talking about this, this, and this. Use this, uploaded format as a template and write my outline. And it did 95% of the work for me. I was kind of dreading it because I'm like, oh man, it's going to take me 20, 30 minutes to do this. I got to type some things out. And I was like, you know what? I wonder what AI has got for me in this. So I was like, hey, that's a really cool, immediate application for it. So, just for our audience, some of the other things you can do that's great is, you can upload documents like spreadsheets and stuff like that and request very specific data analysis. You can try to extract certain info and you can, you're again only limited by the prompt you can ask it
Yeah.
with what it is you're uploading. We talked previously about uploading images and having it, at a base level, describe the image. And, you talked a couple of weeks ago about the differences between Gemini and ChatGPT
Yeah.
and different things in describing these images. But, we can also use it to inspire more art. I sent you some screenshots this week of our, original creative entrepreneur show, image.
Yeah.
And I wanted it to rework it because we've really pushed more in this AI direction. And we do have some, good
Oh,
creative
it was
ideas
plenty
there.
time for an upgrade anyway. There was no
So,
love lost of our original imagery. So,
right, yeah, and honestly, you were a big fan of your Pixar self, pretty much. So that's what I did is I said, hey, here's our image, make us look like Pixar, people, and
yeah.
that inspired in that direction, and it looked pretty cool. I was happy with it. I wanted to give it some more prompts so it can update on the fact that my hair is a little different. I'm a little grayer now, so we're working on it. But it's been fun to be able to use it to inspire more art. So it's just a
Right.
different way to think about it. If one of the cool ways that teachers could use this is for education materials,
Hmm.
is they could, upload all of, the course material that they're teaching, and they can say, hey, summarize this, produce quizzes, produce tests, and different things like that, and it'll be able to go through and do that. So, financial reports, you're really not limited to what you can upload. And the best part is with ChatGPT, if you're not sure, ask it ask it what you can upload and
Yeah.
the different can do using this function. So it's really cool. If you're in there where it says message chat GPT, there's a little paperclip next to it. Click that, you upload it just like you would upload anything, on your computer. What are some of the things you've used this for?
So, just like you mentioned data analysis, I have a number of situations where I like to upload data. I like to upload images, to do various different things. And we talked about, there are ways to poison your 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 work if you're concerned about these AIs running amok. But there's a few things that are in development that I thought was interesting to add on to what you can do. One, it sounds like they're developing ways to save information within the AI system with GPT.
There we go.
I don't know why I keep having issues with this. And then there was a hint that they're going to go into the search realm, and along with this system, and Google, their stock took a hit when they heard that. And when that rumor came about, it could be the case. And so those are some more functionalities that are coming our way. So that'll be interesting.
Very cool. All right, we'll throw it back your way. LinkedIn, that survey. What is the soft?
Yeah. So LinkedIn had a survey, and the number one soft skill needed. What do you think that might be? And it absolutely is what we did here.
Implementation of AI, I'm guessing. Is that
Well, sure, but what got us there was adaptability. Being
ah
able to adapt, the number one soft skill. If you are stuck in your way, this is
right?
the way we've always done it. Well, I'm sorry, in 6 months, that's not the way anybody else does it. And that this wheel is turning faster and faster. I look back in my early days of photography, always trying to push the edge, trying to make whatever was available in the tech and improve and improve and improve, in ways I could use it for marketing. And the way I did photography every, say, 2-3 years, I would notice would be completely different. Photography, processes, marketing was always changing.
Mhm.
And I have mentioned a number of times how I would talk about how many photographers quit at the turn of the century when we went to digital, and they just were not adaptable. And you're
Yeah.
going to have to be adaptable moving forward, because if you're used to one AI right now, there may be another one that's 10 times better in 6 months, a year. I'm
Mhm.
watching every day. It's kind of funny. Each each day I'm looking at a lot of the new information of what's coming out, and they've talk about, okay, this group is working on this problem, and I swear to you, 3 days later, this group has solved this problem and has
Yeah.
launched the new version. It's amazing how quickly things are coming around and moving forward. And so, the original group that's trying to solve the problem, now they have to go somewhere else. Adaptability. They have to change. Things are coming out so quickly. New technology is coming out so quickly, but there is always opportunity. And if you're adaptable, you can be forward thinking and apply this to what you're doing.
Yeah, we're definitely at an unprecedented time of potential of using this technology. And we just onboarded a new person at Great Scott. She's really good with Instagram and Reels and stuff like that. And I explained to her, I was like, there's no linear progression in your career here in social media. We can grow in any direction. So, look at every one of our clients that we have and analyze, use your experience and see which ways we can grow and adapt to
Right.
what's happening right now. And it's exciting and it's fun to empower your employees in that way and make them feel like, they're not on just a linear path.
Right. Very good. All right.
All
Next.
right.
Very
Yeah, throwing it
important.
back. Yeah, yeah. So throwing it back my way. So a big fan of our show. Appreciate him always listening. Is my dad, and to be honest, it's not really an area of topic that is really too familiar with him. We still help him use his computer. He's gotten really good with his phone and texting and stuff like that. But I really appreciate him listening, and I just want our audience to know he is going in for a triple bypass on Monday. Pretty serious stuff he's going through. So we're actually releasing the show a day early so we can give it a listen before he goes under the knife. And I just wanted to talk to our audience about, some of the things. And, to anyone watching on YouTube, here's a cool picture of him in high school
Oh, that's
stealing home.
great.
Oh yeah, that's a shortstop behind him. It was a passed ball, I believe, but he was stealing home. He was safe, but it was in the newspaper. But
Nice.
ended up playing minor league baseball for the Braves and the Dodgers. So really a
Oh,
great athlete. But another one of his passions and that he was really good at was landscaping.
oh,
And
okay.
he was an entrepreneur with his brother. He formed what was called Great Scott, or not Great Scott. Sorry, that's my company. It was Scott Brothers Landscaping, and that was with his brother, my uncle Bruce. And you know, one of the motivations for being an entrepreneur was watching my dad do that, and also my mother being a hairdresser. So she, had her
Hmm.
own shop in our home growing up, and two very creative careers. But the unfortunate thing is they weren't able to make it their sole career. They
Mm.
still had to work really hard. So I witnessed my father, 60 plus hours a week. I saw the time card go in the thing because I worked at the same grocery store as him. And so it was at the same time as he was trying to, grow his landscaping company. And if these tools for marketing and for growing your business, such as AI and some of these other things, existed back in their time, they might have had a better opportunity to help, grow their business. So it's one of my motivations in the fact that I feel like I've found this kind of secret sauce to help, our business grow in our family. And I want to be able to share this information with more people. And again, I'm just thrilled that, I've got some, family members listening and stuff. And, just to let our audience know, exactly where I'm coming from and the reason why I want to share this information each week and want to have these great conversations with you. So, again, Rosh, I know, your father was someone that was in media and someone who I'm sure has
Yep.
inspired you to be in this direction. So,
Oh,
if you
absolutely. Yeah.
speak
Well,
to
this is about your dad today, but yes, we
that.
could talk about my dad another day, but he was a big inspiration too, and certainly guided me in many areas of especially entrepreneurship, certainly. So it's always good to have somebody to look up to.
Right, exactly. So, hey, we're all sending our love to you, Dad, and you're a fighter and you got this, and we'll talk about you soon. So, all
Sounds
right,
good.
Rosh, back to you there for the end.
So, I'm seeing a lot of something that we're looking at maybe last spring, and that were our classes. People are popping up with classes on AI all over the place. And I find like, what are they talking about? What is it that are they teaching you how to develop an AI? No, it really is prompt engineering kind of stuff. What is it? Just kind of like the stuff when social media came out. How do you open up an account? It was really basic
Base
stuff.
level.
And honestly, a lot of those classes probably, I dare say, are not necessary, because you can probably open up an account by now and you can test. However, having someone guide you is not a bad thing. There's nothing wrong with hiring a consultant that knows, because sometimes that can cut through the
Mhm.
the time that it takes to get through learning a new topic. But for the most part, you know, there's so many different tools out there that have AI connected to them. You don't need them all. You only need the ones you need.
Right.
There's a new one that's similar to Photoshop that came out that can do some nice things, but do I need it? There's something new from Apple that is a system that allows you to move still images, kind of what we had talked about in some of the other the new Google program allows you to do that. Cinemagraphs, for example, take a piece and then it moves parts of the image, all sorts of stuff like that. There's so many, but unless you need it, unless you know you have that problem, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. It should be actually relatively easy to learn how to do the things you need to do. It's more about your creativity.
Mhm.
And when you understand that it's still about your creativity, the questions you have, the problems you want to solve, and finding the right solutions there, even if it's just a general language model that you go to, like Gemini, or going into Google and say, hey, or over to Bing and saying, hey, how do I deal with this? Or what? That's fine. Wait till you have a problem and then get deep in, and you'll learn a lot really quickly just by going through the process. It's kind of like, again, when first had a computer. everybody's staring at the computer. What do I do with this?
What do I
Put
do
my
with this thing?
Yeah, what do I put my recipes on it? What is it? Until you had a real problem and that there
Mhm.
was software and things that was directly related to who you are, what you do. So
Right.
don't feel like you have to be involved in everything. There's going to be more AI tools out there than ever. I mean, we're just going to be bombarded. You thought AI, you thought the uh, the, the Google stores and Apple app stores were loaded before with stuff. Nothing has nothing compared to what's coming and will be available over the next year or two. The things you never thought you would be able to do, but with hopes they'll make you much more creative.
Yeah, and Chat GPT has been really good for that in their homepage because they do have specific programs for their technology to keep you
Right,
focused on one thing. Like the one, when I took our picture and changed it, I used what was called Cartoonize Yourself.
right.
And it was a specific program within Chat GPT that I was able to use.
Yeah, very good. Yeah, there are. I looked in there the other day for a logo maker. There is logo maker. There are some very specific tools that people are developing because that's something new that was created by OpenAI what a couple months ago that allows people to just create their own AIs, and you can
Brilliant.
sell them or you can use them or whatever you wish, and that's going to continue to be a functionality that is going to be amazing to just be able to say, okay, let's create an AI that does this, and
Yeah.
maybe even help you build out a piece of software with your AI. It'll help you build something that's easy for you to use, something that you understand because it's logical to you. And so
Right.
AI
Intuitive.
software
Yeah.
just may generally be customized in the future for everyone. So do the things you want to do. If you really start thinking it through. But again, let's just get back to it. It starts with creative people. And so don't lose sight of that as this continues. And we'll continue to apply these tools to our creativity.
Yeah, absolutely. And to wrap up and summarize the show today, I did want to speak out to the fact that we appreciate that we've had some, podcast bookers and people reaching out to us to have guests on the show. And we're still very excited to have guests on the show, but now that we have done our subject change, we would like to, talk to people about their creative solutions for creative entrepreneurs, but also how it relates to the world of AI and if they're using
Yeah.
it to apply. So, just making sure that, the podcast bookers that are reaching out to us, which we really appreciate that you're listening and reaching out, that we're making sure we have guests that are aligned with our new, topics.
Yeah. And, I really don't look at it so much as a change as a refocus because
Mhm.
really the conversation that got us going with this and restarting the podcast was to what was the AI elements, and we really kicked it off with that. And and I would say I probably strayed more than anyone getting back into some of the traditional entrepreneur stuff that we've talked about that I think is helpful. I think it's
Mhm.
helpful and creatives need to know about it, but this is the moment for AI, has been for the last, especially the last year. We started this, well within that year of ramping up. So we hope to be a voice, especially for the creative people as we move forward. So again, we have the creativeentrepreneurshow.com. You can head on over there and ask us questions, and of course, catch up on all the shows and find a good place to find a good home for you to listen to us or watch us regularly. All
Uh,
right.
Thank you, everyone, for listening to the Creative Entrepreneur Show. Two creative guys talking AIs.
All right. Talk to you later. Good one.
All right, Rosh.